Hello, everyone, and welcome back to P3. This week I'll be actually critiquing somebody's game of Dota. The player that I'm referring to is Red Fluff. Red Fluff is playing a Life Stealer. If you haven't played Dota before, it's actually an online MOBA with one of the highest prize pools for their World Championships, which they call the International. Today's game's of a player with a fairly low MMR, and I'm just here to provide them some feedback on their game. So let's get to it. Here it is. Okay, so we're starting out with the game now. You can see the two teams are fairly unevenly matched as we start. The player we're watching at the moment is the Life Stealer. So without the directed camera, on the Dire side, we have a Skeleton King, an Omni Knight, a Sven. We also have a Windrunner and an Anti-Mage. Quite a formidable team with late game potential and a little bit of early game potential. The team is quite cancerous. On the Radiant side, we have a Life Stealer, a Luna, a Leshrac, a Skywraith Mage, and a Lich King. Or a Lich. So you can see here our Life Stealers come off to a fairly good start. You can see that his items are actually not too bad starting off early in this game. You can see he's bought himself some tangos, which is good. Stout Shield, good for a melee hero. Quelling Blade, probably one of the best item choices for a low MMR game, just so he can ensure his last hits. And he's also got a Clarity. Don't ask me why he's bought a Clarity as a Life Stealer early game, but he has done so, and he's chosen to spend that 50 gold or whatever it costs, 50 or 75 I believe they cost, so he's got a Clarity, which he probably will never use. So we've got him in a dual lane by the looks of things at the bottom with Starboy. Starboy playing the Leshrac. So let's see how he goes. He picked up the Bounty Rune to start off, which is really nice. Really nice. He's done a good job. Alright, so starting off originally, you can see his team has bought no wards for him, which is probably not very helpful at all. So for the purposes of this game, and to add a little bit to the commentary, we're going to call Starboy the Leshrac, Life Stealer's mother. Okay, so here comes Life Stealer and his mother in the lane. And they're doing quite well. His mother's sort of running around in the bushes for no reason, and Life Stealer's just ignoring. Your mother's getting attacked, Life Stealer. What are you doing? Oh, and now he's seen it. And he doesn't care. He's still going for the creeps, and I think that's probably the best decision so far. It's a good choice. Because he's getting those last hits, which is racking up his gold. And last hits are very important in this game, as anyone could debate, but probably not as important as teamwork. Level 1, there's probably a very low chance that anybody's going to get killed, so that's good. And now you see there's a little bit more harass going on between the Leshrac and the Omni Knight. And okay, now he's gone to help out his mum, who's on quite low health, so that's good. I'm glad he's looking after his mum. Oh, and now they've just picked on him. Mum's out there to help, and he's got first blood. Thank you, mum. Good job. Alright, so first blood is excellent. However, again, in a higher MMR, that kind of harass would not happen at level 2. Yeah, people don't decide to go running past towers, or near towers to get ganks, unless they are 100% sure they're going to get the kill. In this situation, both sides were sort of just guessing. And Anti-Mage has just come for the Shrek, and mum's the word. And the Anti-Mage made a big mistake because he blinked in instead of running in. And so he didn't have the cooldown on his blink for later on. So a really good start for Red Fluff here. Really good. Awesome. So about now would probably be a good time for him to start healing back up. You see he's on, 2/3 HP. And it's always important to keep your HP and your mana as high as you can in a game of Dota. Because if you don't, you're more susceptible to being ganked. And the higher your HP and mana is, the harder it is for someone to kill. Another thing to note as well is that at this stage of the game, it's probably not a good idea to get level 2 on your feast. Because the lifesteal that you get, the bonus you get from that is only an extra 1%. Okay, so if you're talking about a hero with 100 HP, instead of getting 4.5 HP from that hero, you now get 5.5 HP. So essentially each hit he's getting 1 extra HP per 100, whereas if he decided rather to skill Rage early on, he then gets a magic immunity, which is far more useful than the extra 1% lifesteal that he has now. I don't mind him second skilling open wounds, but I think a better choice would have, see right there, if he had Rage, he would be able to get away from that, or certainly cancel it. And you might find that the Sven probably wouldn't have thrown his stun on the lifestealer then, simply because he would have just been able to Rage and cancel that. Cancel the damage, cancel the HP. So you can see that this clarity has been pretty useless so far. He has used his tangos, but you know, what's the point of even having the clarity if you're never going to use it? It's just using up an item slot, which you got plenty of now, but still. Last hits wise, he's doing pretty well. Almost 5 minutes in, he's on what, 14? It's not too bad. You should be aiming for about 40 or 50 for the first 10 minutes of the game. If you can get to there, then you're doing very well with your last
Another
hits.
thing to note is that when you're in lane, it's probably a good idea to be making sure that you are constantly checking the map to see where other heroes are, but also having TP scrolls is a really important part of the game. If you don't have a TP scroll, you can't help your teammate out. And if you don't help your teammates out, then inevitably you end up losing the game, especially if the other team always does 5-man team attacks. Okay, so we just heard something then, and that's a Sven coming in, and he's dead. So that's unlucky for him. He popped his Rage probably a second too slowly then, which is entirely his fault. So you can see here that the Wind Ranger has actually got double damage. So probably teleporting in is probably not the best idea to a Wind Ranger with double damage. But he thinks he can do it. He thinks he can do it, which is nice. Especially because Wind Runner has Wind Run as a move, which makes her have 100% evade, which you just saw then. So in this situation, it's always going to be a lose for you if you go against her when she's got double damage. And see, she's got support there as well. So there's no way that you possibly could have killed her in that situation.
Note, when he left the fountain last time, he probably still should have bought a teleport scroll. A general rule when you're buying teleport scrolls is you always buy 1 or 2 each time, which is important. It is really important. When you're playing a game of Dota, it's also really important that you don't put down your teammates. Putting down your teammates is probably one of the worst things you can do, because it does throw them off their game, and it makes you look like a jerk. And nobody likes playing with jerks, so don't do it. Even if they do actually suck, it's still not good to say that they suck. Because they could be just having one bad game, and that is possible. People do have bad games here and there, even pro players. So it's important that you recognize that and encourage your teammates. So there's a lot of stuff that's actually happening. I don't know why the Lich is sticking around in the lane. It's probably better for the Lich to actually be in the team fight. And you can see that because the Lich wasn't in the team fight and because the lifesteal wasn't in the team fight, they've actually lost two players, their mid and their support, for nothing. And again, if the lifestealer had bought a teleport scroll, he would probably have got this kill here on the Windrunner. But you can see here, because he's chosen not to get that and use his clarity for no reason, well, at least he's using it, the Windrunner's actually gotten away, which is another kill that he could have gotten. It would have cost him 50 gold to buy a teleport scroll, and he would have got heaps of experience in it. Okay, so he's leaving lane now. So now if we have a look at the comparison, why is he leaving lane? We've got no idea. So if we have a look at this, there's 2 melee creeps he missed. So let's just say that's about 200 gold, and he's left for no reason. So he's just missed 200 gold there. Windrunner's in the lane, yes, but he probably would have got that first wave, and he traded that 200 gold for 200 for about 100 gold, and he's just missed another one, so that's 250 gold he's missed for 100 gold. And the experience is probably similar either way, and he's just missed 300 for 100, sorry, and then they're worth 30 each, or 20 each. Let's just say 30, 30, 60, 90, so it's 200 gold for about 3 creep waves. So it's probably not worth him actually going for these jungle creeps. It's probably better him going for the melee creeps here. I mean, he's not going to miss out on these. He can always come back for them. But the amount of gold he's actually earning isn't as good as the gold he would be earning in lane. And while this is all happening, his team's actually in a team fight here, and you can see that they're about to get wrapped around on. So his team actually did alright until just then, and his team just got smashed. And of course, by the time he's head up there, the team fight's actually completely over. So there's actually no point in him engaging, and he recognizes that fact and does the right thing. However, initially he should have got there earlier. So if he was in that team fight, he may have been able to make more of an impact. However, they pretty much team wiped his team, and his team got nothing back from it. I think they killed Wraith King once, but that was only to remove his ultimate. So now Wraith King can't resurrect for another 120 seconds, but Wraith King doesn't really care because their team's not the one that's engaging on the ganks. He gives up the fight with the Windrunner. So now at this stage, see, if you watch the minimap, the Windrunner's just actually gone for purple there on the map, and there's another one going for purple. So I don't know if he called that or not, but purple has no idea, and he's just seen it, and purple's dead. So in that situation, it's probably worth pinging and telling your teammate. I don't think he actually saw that fight go down between the other team and purple. So it's a good thing that the Sky Wraith Mage is there, because he does the cleanup job quite well. But they did lose that unnecessary Leshrac there again. You didn't warn your mum. You didn't warn your mum that she was about to die, and she died. It's quite obvious at the moment that he is not going to be joining his team anytime soon. He's focused on getting his items, and I think, you know, that's a good thing in a game. But the teamwork's just not there from him at this moment. Now he's crossed the river, so he should definitely have a team farming this way. His team may win the team fights, but if the other team's clever, they'll join together and they'll actually outnumber his team, and they'll win every team fight, regardless of what happens. And so it's generally, it's a good thing to farm and get your items, but you need to know the balance between farming and team fighting. And if you're never present in those team fights, you're never going to have the edge in those team fights later in the game. So here we go. It looks like he's looking at engaging the Wraith King here. And it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. It looks like he's probably going to be okay. And he gets the... and he used his ultimate straight away there, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why you would that early, because now you have no way of regenerating your life. And that's good. That's good. So he's got the first death, but now he's got no health. Toggle of the armor there is good. But again, he's got no HP, and his health is draining. And he's dead. In that fight, he used his ultimate way too early. Way too early. As a lifestealer, you really want to regenerate the bulk of your HP with that ultimate move. Especially if you have an armlet. That's the whole reason armlet's good on lifestealer, is because one, he lifesteals, so he gets health based on the health of the opponent, and also number two, his ultimate allows him to regenerate that health. So if you use it early, you're not actually benefiting from using that move. Not really. Yes, it does some damage to the person around you, but it's better getting their health back than doing an early. So again, at this stage, you can see the rest of his team on the minimap is all clumped up, and they're going for team fights now. They really want to get involved because they know that the other team late game are probably going to win. They've got the anti-mage, and they've got the Sven, and they've got the Wraith King, whereas their team only has a life stealer for late game. So his team are really pushing for those early ganks because there's another team fight going on, but instead of joining, he's doing the regular thing and just choosing to farm when he really should be getting there a lot earlier. So his team's getting wrecked at the moment. So they've officially just split up 3 members from them, and he's just revealed his location. And it was a really good skill shot by the Windrunner there to catch him and stun him. And simply because he wasn't in that team fight, but he was still in the lane, he's now in big trouble, huge trouble. And he just got killed. So in that team fight, it was more of a split up. I mean, their team's never had a 5v5 team fight, whereas the other team always has. And again, he's come late. He's come late again. Yes, there was a team fight, and yes, there was a possibility of a kill, but he's come way too late to get. You can see here he's just gone to farm again. And I mean, this tactic only works for so long. Once you start getting towards that peak, which is his peak, and a lot of other heroes' peaks, you'll see that if he farms, he'll probably get ganked later on in the game. And yep, and he's just got ganked then. So the question is, will he be able to survive this? And he might be able to. Oh, so there's a clean up by Sven, and Sven's killed him. Sven's just absolutely destroyed everyone. So that was him getting caught out then. That was him getting caught out, and his team in team fights really needs his help. Really needs his help. The other thing he could do is buy a scroll of teleport. It would save a lot of time while he's running around. So you see he's still running. He gets there, the fight's over. They just thought, okay, we'll fight this guy as well. And at this stage of the game, if his team's not there and he's outnumbered, simple things like getting to the fight earlier, getting to a team fight earlier, buying teleport scrolls. I think for that whole game he bought something like 1 or 2 teleport scrolls, which is a bit unheard of. Number 3, making sure that if you're buying items early game, that you buy useful items. There's no point in getting your clarity or your HP bottle potion if you're never going to use them. They're just wasted income. The other point is you have to always weigh up your options, opportunity cost, right? So if you're deciding to go out of lane for some reason, you should really be looking at the amount of experience and gold you're losing from going outside of the lane, and weighing it up to whether it's actually worth it. If you're going to pick up a bounty rune, then that may be okay. But if you're just going out to do some farming, you're probably better off staying in lane, having a teleport scroll on you, and getting that extra 200 or 100 gold from the lane creep. It was pretty obvious which team was going to win at the beginning just because of the team composition. And there are some games where you have the composition that's completely against you, and I understand that. But for this game, I think he played really well. He played well. He did the right thing by farming, but he also may have forgotten to help his team out as much as he should. Thank you all for watching P3. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know exactly what to do. I'm not going to tell you. And hopefully I'll see you next time in P3. Have a good one.